2 weeks ago, Manel's 53-year-old husband Adil was beaten to death by a group of young thieves. Adil wasn't wearing expensive clothes. He had no money on him, she told me. The boys were trying to steal the bread Adil was carrying, and Manel says she can just about understand why the thieves did it.
If the prices in the country weren't so high, the boys wouldn't have stolen the bread in that way. Maybe they stole it because they don't have enough money to buy food. And so at the end, the head of our family died over a piece of bread.
But it's not just the price of bread that has shot up suddenly. In the last 3 months, the price of basic foods, including rice, pasta and cooking oil, have been particularly affected, with prices in some cases at more than double what they were at the start of the year.
For the 15 million or so Egyptians who live here at or below the poverty line, the spiraling prices have had a devastating effect. But they've also hit all sections of Egyptian society who are now complaining that the government hasn't just mismanaged this crisis, it's also been too slow to respond to it.
This was shown in demonstrations across Egypt in past weeks, and most recently the violence in Mahalla at the largest textile factory in the country. The Egyptian government runs one of the biggest subsidy projects in the world. It's promised to try and make more subsidized wheat and flour available to ease the crisis. But some analysts say it's likely the protests will spread throughout the country, not only because of rising food prices.
As a result of this, the problem of inflation is a problem which does not hit only poor people, but it hits also, middle-class families in Egypt. So this is, I think, one of the reasons that there is a general feeling of frustration at government policies, and this is also the reason that there has been a large degree of sympathy with the call for strike, which was launched by groups of workers and young people.
Gamal Hussein has run his small food stand in this Cairo suburb for over 17 years. But in all his time, he says he's never seen so many people suffering.
3 months ago, I used to make £500 a month. Now I make half that. 50 piastres, half an Egyptian pound, used to buy enough full beans to feed 2 or 3 people. Now you can hardly feed a small child with 50 piastres, but that's all people have to spend.
And this was echoed by stall owners everywhere. They say the price of rice and grain is going up so fast, they don't even bother to write up the prices on the boards. In Egyptian dialect, the word for bread is aish. It literally means life. And for many of the 45 million people here that rely on subsidized food like bread from the government, the situation is becoming a matter of life and death. And people from across the social divide seem like they're no longer prepared to stay quiet. Shireen Tadros, Al Jazeera, Cairo.